Hey, welcome back to Sketchbook Sessions. I'm Davon McMillian, and today I'm going to show you how to do side portraits or a side profile view. Now, this was requested in the last session by Sunset 16020. So thank them if you want to thank anyone, and make sure to drop any recommendations, any tutorials, tips, workshops that you want to see in these sessions in the comments below. Now, for today's lesson, we're going to go over something called the Loomis method. There's a lot of different ways you can go about drawing portraits and drawing figures, and they're all respectable in their own right. But the Loomis method is one of the most popular ones, and it's that for a reason. You know, it allows you to get a lot of mileage under your belt on sketching portraits from many different angles, and it's really easy to understand. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it, learn how to do side profiles using the Loomis method. All right, let's start with a quick circle. No, the circle doesn't need to be perfect. Obviously, mine is not. So just something general to guide you. Then make an inner circle about 20 to 30% smaller than the outside circle. Once you got that, you're going to make a vertical axis. Now, I mean, this is just a straight up and down line. It's just a fancy way to say line. But make sure that's in the middle. Then draw a horizontal axis also in the middle, and they should meet right in the center of your two circles. Now let's use the rule of thirds and draw a line at the bottom of your inner circle and top of your inner circle. This is going to give you two equal parts. Now you're going to make a third equal part coming down from that bottom line. Now, it doesn't need to be exact. It's just a rough estimate. But now you got three equal parts. And once you got that, you're going to start drawing a triangular wedge from the front section of the circle and the second axis, and then starting the back from the third axis, and then meeting on that fourth axis. And this is going to be your chin. And now you can start to see the face starting to develop here. We're getting closer. So we're going to help move it along and bring in the neck. Start the back of the neck where the circle kind of meets that third axis, and where the front of the neck kind of started right in between the third and fourth axes. And the thinner the neck, the more feminine it'll look. The thicker or bigger, the more it'll look like a gym bro. Or, you know, more muscular and masculine it'll come across. Once you got that, let's start adding our ear in, and that's going to be down in the bottom right or left, depending on which way your face is looking, quadrant of that inner circle. I corrected my vertical axes a little bit because I started to see that it was super jank. And I'm going to speed things up a little bit here while I start to develop the ear a little bit. But a quick tip on the ear, just draw a E shape and start adding shading to the top right and bottom left, and it'll start to come across as an ear. Once you got the ear, we're going to do some shadowing underneath the chin, start to give it form. And at this point, I mean, we're really doing work. So let's keep it going. Add that eyebrow ridge here on the second axis and bring it in a little bit towards that inner circle. Now, how far you bring it in depends on the type of face you're making. I'm going for a more feminine face, so I don't bring it in too far. Start to add the triangle for the nose, and that's going to come out a little bit further from the front of your face. And then bring it inward and outward, creating that lip, the cleft above the lip. Now, for this stuff, there's really no rule. I don't like to follow too strict of a rule for the lips and the nose and the facial features, because then you're just drawing faces that look all the same. You know, the Andrew Loomis technique will have all your faces looking like stone men. So just kind of flow with it here. You could follow, if you want, follow my drawing exact till you get a feel for it, but lips vary at different shapes and sizes, fullness, width, height. Same thing with noses, eyes, eyebrow ridges. I just said eyes like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. That's low-key embarrassing. But anyways, yeah, don't be too strict on yourself at this point. Just kind of go with the flow. I'm starting to add some more shading in here to give it more form. There's always going to be a hard shadow underneath your chin, your upper lip, in your ear, and underneath your eyebrow ridge. I mean, if the light is coming from up above, and vice versa if it's coming from below. So I always like to just put those hard shadows in at the beginning just to give myself better guides for the rest of the facial features. Now I'll continue adding facial features, moving on to the eye, which is another triangular wedge shape with the corner pointing towards the ear. And I'm building it out using relationships between the other facial features. So that corner of the eye is aligned with the ear, where the ear meets up with the face. And then the front of the eye, you can use the lips, the corner of the lips, or the nose to kind of see where it sits in relation to the other features of the face. So just draw lines, see how they line up, look at distances, use the rule of threes, and your previous markings using the Loomis method. All these things should help guide you plot these different facial features. And remember, everyone's face is different, so don't follow them too much, but just use them to inform your decisions. And once you feel confident with what you got so far, you can start to erase some of the marks, pull out some of those guides, some of those lines, circles, axes, and give yourself more room to work on the features of the face and add detail and bring out further form. So I'm going to let you vibe here for a while. You can follow my drawing. I'm going to erase a bit more of these marks, start adding some shading and some line work, and I'll come back here in a little bit, see how you're doing. I'm feeling pretty happy where I am at this portrait so far. I hope you are as well. So I move on to the hair. Now the hair is like a whole nother beast, to be honest. It's just a lot of marks. It's a lot of marks, a lot of shapes. And I can do an entirely other video just on hair and how to bring it out. Yeah, I still myself struggle with hair sometimes, you know, it's its own beast really, but I found that it's once I start to enjoy the process, I just kind of buckle down and make marks and just kind of see how forms get brought out, then I start to enjoy it more. So don't let it intimidate you, just kind of go with it. It's really malleable, really. Or just make them bald. Just make all your characters bald. If that's what you want to do, but feel free to follow me along and follow kind of the hair that I'm using on my portrait, but at this point the portrait's solid. It's pretty much done. So I'm just kind of building it out a little bit more, which I actually just started to enjoy like the process and was having a good time. And at this point, I bring in a darker pencil. I think it's like a 4B. And I just start making really dark marks in the heaviest shadowed areas, or the darker areas of the face. A quick trick for when you're drawing from reference to kind of identify those dark areas is blurring your eyesight. That sounds kind of odd, I know, but if you can blur your eyesight a little bit, you will quickly be able to see the lightest areas of the face and the darkest areas of the face. It kind of just like takes, once you stop focusing on the details, you get to see those big bodies of darks and lights. And you'll start to see when you get to the point of your drawing where you're adding in those darks and like really bringing out those whites and dark, like black darks, that's when your portrait will start to stand out. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. If you want me to kind of expand on that a little bit more, let me know in the comments. But this is honestly like one of the most rewarding points in the drawing for me, because I feel like it starts to look the way I imagined it looking in the beginning. And with that, job well done. You've done it. You now know how to do side portraits. I'm going to go ahead and add a little signature in here because I was feeling extra proud about this one, and wrap it up. Okay, and that's it. I hope that was helpful. Again, make sure to let me know in the comments below if you want to see any other tutorials, if you want to do any other workshops, or want to hear any tips on art, illustration, drawing, or design. I love doing these videos. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching all the way through. And make sure to check out the art studio, Mednokta. I got some really cool drops coming up this year for it. And yeah, thanks for giving me your time. Thanks for sticking around. Catch you in the next one.